Hi, I'm Dr. Wichterman, and welcome back to Sacred Psychology. Today, I want to talk about how Western society and culture is making our brains sick. Woo! Have you ever had one of those days where you wake up already tired? You check your phone before your feet even hit the floor. You're doom scrolling at night and in the morning now. You rush through breakfast. You drink some kind of caffeinated beverage just to function. And then your mind jumps from one thing to the next all day. You can't keep a thought straight. By evening, you feel completely fried, but somehow your brain still will not turn off. You've been irritable with your family, you're completely exhausted, you can hardly stand up, and yet you can't fall asleep. If you have ADHD, that combination can feel like chaos inside your mind, but you don't have to have ADHD to feel that. What many people do not realize is that the experience is not simply a personal failure of discipline. In many ways, it's a predictable response to the modern Western lifestyle. Our culture is built around constant stimulation and endless busyness, artificial foods, sleep disruption, and social comparison. The human brain, especially the ADHD brain, but everybody's brain, was never designed for this kind of environment. As a counselor who's worked with clients for nearly 2 decades, I've taught other counselors for 14 years, and I also conduct ADHD assessments. As part of my clinical work, I see this pattern constantly. People assume something's wrong with them, but it's often their environment that's attacking their brain. It's not helping in the least. So the modern life looks very different from the way human beings lived for most of history. For most of our human existence, people moved their bodies daily. They ate real food without chemicals and all those other things we put into it that I don't even know what they are. They spent time outdoors and they experienced regular periods of quiet. Today, our lives are dominated by screens, be it a computer, a phone, a tablet, a television, or something else. Processed foods, sedentary work. I sit down almost all day for my work, and constant stimulation. The ADHD brain especially already struggles with dopamine regulation and attention control. And when that brain is placed inside an environment that constantly floods it with stimulation, symptoms often become worse. Instead of helping the brain regulate, the modern environment amplifies dysregulation. It's no wonder our kids are a mess half the time. Busyness has become a badge of honor in modern culture. People brag about their schedules being packed and their lives being nonstop. But constant busyness keeps the nervous system in chronic stress response. Cortisol rises, attention becomes fragmented, emotional regulation becomes harder, and sleep quality declines. For people with ADHD, constant busyness forces the brain to switch tasks repeatedly. The mind never has time to settle. What do we expect? There's also a spiritual dimension to this. Busyness leaves very little room for reflection, prayer, or quiet. When our lives are filled with noise, we slowly begin to forget God and the practical rhythms of everyday life. The modern Western diet is heavily dominated by highly processed foods designed to maximize sugar, salt, and fat. Shelf life for the food is more important than your life. These foods can create spikes in blood sugar and dopamine, followed by crashes and cravings. When blood sugar becomes unstable, the brain struggles to maintain stable attention. Research consistently shows that nutrition affects mood, attention, inflammation, and brain injury. Nutrition alone will not cure ADHD, but poor nutrition can absolutely make symptoms worse, so the opposite can help. The brain is an organ, and organs require proper fuel. The average person now consumes enormous amounts of stimulation every day. Social media feeds, streaming videos, podcasts, audiobooks, news alerts, advertisements, billboards all over the road as you drive, and endless notifications all compete for attention. In fact, as I was trying to create this video, I got a notification. The brain was never designed to process this level of input. ADHD brains are particularly sensitive to stimulation because of the differences in dopamine regulation. Fast, novel stimulation floods the brain with dopamine, which can make ordinary tasks feel dull and difficult in comparison. It's like when I hear kids say that I've worked with in past years, I don't listen to my parents when they talk regular because they're always yelling. And so the regular voice has become dull and boring or not worth responding to because their parent's voice, unless it's loud, has become unimportant. Social media exposes us to the curated lives of thousands of people we have never met. We come down hard on ourselves because we haven't been as successful, or our house doesn't look as clean, or we don't have custom shelving in the living room. We see those highlights and successes in their lives, and we begin to compare ourselves to what appears to be constant achievement. This comparison creates stress, and stress worsens ADHD symptoms. At the same time, many people spend emotional energy tracking the lives of strangers while neglecting their own health, relationships, and spiritual life. Silence has largely disappeared from the modern life. Even moments that used to be quiet are now filled with digital stimulation. Even distance swimming in the pool. We now have waterproof earbuds, walks. We're always listening to something, even in nature. It's constant. Yet silence is essential for the brain. Quiet moments allow the nervous system to calm, memories to consolidate, and emotions to regulate. From a Christian perspective, silence also creates space to remember God. Throughout Christian history, rhythms of rest, reflection, prayer, silence and solitude, fasting, and even Sabbath were understood as essential for spiritual health. ADHD is real and has neurological and genetic influences, but environment also matters tremendously. And I should say, for some people that get diagnosed with ADHD, they might just solely have an environmental problem. When people improve the foundations of their life, that is nutrition, exercise, sleep, quiet reflection, spiritual grounding, and many other things, many ADHD symptoms become easier to manage, and for a select few, they disappear. And I don't say that because I think ADHD disappears with people who have a legitimate diagnosis. I say it because the brain is no longer under constant assault from an unhealthy environment. Several simple lifestyle changes can support the brain health and, frankly, your body health as well. You can reduce unnecessary busyness and create a margin in your schedule. Eat more real food and focus on stable blood sugar. Move your body regularly through exercise and physical activity. Reduce digital overstimulation by limiting notifications and screen time. Turn your phone and everything else off electronic for days at a time. There's even research now that constant Wi-Fi signal can cause problems for your body and brain. So also practice quiet reflection and prayer to allow your mind to settle. If you want to learn more about improving attention and brain health, you can explore resources at my website, tryingtopayattention.com. There's a newsletter, there's a blog, there's even a list of non-medication treatments that I think will be very helpful for you if you have ADHD or are just simply overstimulated. Sometimes the most powerful step we can take is slowing down, stepping back from constant stimulation, even this video, and remembering how we were designed. If you made it this far, please the video, subscribe to the channel, even give me a comment on what you're thinking about on the subject. I sure would appreciate it. It would go a long way. Thank you.